Hi, everyone. From 1Route, I'm Jeffrey Ross, and you're watching the 1Route Roundup, the show that spotlights individuals making a positive difference in the telecom industry. Today, we're joined by Nixon Wampamba, currently the General Manager of Business Assurance and Fraud Management at MTN Nigeria. He's previously held management roles for different MTN opcos, including South Africa and Ghana, a solution architect of revenue assurance and fraud management for Ericsson in Texas, head of RAFM for Airtel Ghana in Tanzania, revenue protection manager for cable and wireless communications, along with being a revenue assurance analyst, architect, developer for T-Mobile UK, Telefonica Venezuela, and O2. Obviously, this man knows revenue assurance and fraud management. He is also a strategic advisor to the board for Gray's Matter, a past judge for the Risk Reward Awards, and one of the only people that I know that has worked on almost every continent. Nixon, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, have you been able to hit every continent with the exception of Antarctica, or maybe you've done some Antarctica time? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm missing out Antarctica. I don't know. I think we need to get some cell phones on those penguins, and then I'll be able to get down there.
They'd be like little mobile towers. It'd be good.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I also am curious. Have you been following? There was a gentleman that was riding from, what was it, from London to Lagos. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have been following, but I've been so busy in the last 5 days. I haven't actually checked my Twitter, so I need to go and see if he has arrived in Lagos or not.
You know,
I think he was quite close.
It's fascinating just to see. Number one, that's quite a long drive, or I should say, a long ride on a bike, motorcycle. But absolutely amazing, and I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you had found out if he had made it yet or not.
Yeah, we need to find out. Let's find out.
I'm with you there. So I can only imagine the the logistics behind country to country alone is probably crazy. So Nixon, I always like to start off every episode with, let's talk about where in the world are you today?
I'm in Lagos, Nigeria today.
Oh, there you go. That's why we need to find out if the gentleman has arrived.
Yeah.
So another question, besides Texas, because that's a given, what has been one of your favorite places to live and work?
Most favorite to live, I think, was Tanzania. It's very beautiful. Had huge landscape, different terrains. Probably most likely place to work was probably Venezuela as well. This was a very, very nice country. But listen, every single country I've worked in has been fantastic. I think it's always an experience to meet different cultures, different people, and somehow you realize we're actually all the same. We have the same motivations, same goals. We're all trying to do the best for who we are, trying to do our best to get somewhere. So really, I mean, I've loved every place I've worked and I've lived.
That's awesome, and I love the attitude, because I 100% agree. Over the years, I'm right there with you. You know, at the end of the day, after you meet and work with people and talk with people all over the world, you realize, at the end of the day, we're just people. We're trying to all row in the same direction and accomplish a goal, put food on the table for the family. And I love the learning of other cultures, and names alone, Nixon. I can tell you, lately we've been doing some work in Lesotho, and the Lesotho names have just been fascinating to me. Because again, as you know, and for the audience, Nixon spent some time in the wonderful area that I'm near, in the Dallas, Texas area. The Lesotho names in Texas and Texan speech don't exactly jive, but but it's been fun. I can't complain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing that we really enjoy learning is about people's journey and how they got to where they're at today. Can you talk about a little bit, you know, in a nutshell, you've been all over and you've done some incredible things. What got you into the telecom industry?
Wow. It was almost by accident. When I left university, my focus was really on banking. My aim was to make as much money as I could at that point in time. So I went into banking, worked for a couple of merchant banks. But a lot of the work that I was doing was very technical. Yeah. And the people I was working with gave me advice that, look, you really want to move into the technical side of things instead of focusing on finance, where you probably need to learn more around finance. And then by accident, I did apply for a role in what was probably called, it was part of BT then, BT Cellnet, to basically help the internal audit teams process data. Because again, I was doing a lot of coding, I was doing a lot of database work. And literally that's how I ended up in revenue assurance. So I was there, we worked on a big project where BABT, which is one of the organizations set up by the regulator in the UK to manage billing. So it was the first time billing was actually being accredited, so that you could actually, satisfy your customers that, you've got an accreditation, that you're billing accurately, and your bills are accurate that you send out. So we did this project at BT, and basically it was around processing data. Revenue assurance really didn't exist. It was actually, I was working for the internal audit team at that time. And at the end of the year, I think we did actually get the very first certification for billing. So saying that we bill accurately to our customers. So really, that's how I got into telecoms. I'd never set out to go into telecoms, and I think also at that time, telecoms wasn't such a big thing. It was a niche industry. Yeah, as such.
And I had no idea on the banking side. So you and I are a little bit the same, as my background was in banking and then essentially fell into telecom. So here we go. Banking was sucking the life out of me, Nixon. That's good. I am curious, and one thing we've been talking quite a bit about is the idea of perspective and opening eyes of our audience to different perspectives around the world, and especially through your experiences and all the places that you've been. Can you give us some perspective of fraud from different countries' points of views? Are we all fighting the same thing over and over, or is each country a little bit different?
I think if you go back to the past, if you go back, 10 years ago, probably longer, the fraud was different. I think the fraud was different, and we've become very globalized. And with the advance of the internet, it has provided the fraudsters with the platform to be able to literally engage in fraud across the globe. So we're probably right now fighting probably the same things in different factors, right? If you look at phishing fraud, for example, it is literally around the globe. It's not just that it's being aimed at developed countries or in the US alone. It's literally, even here in Africa, we're getting the same phishing fraud. It's slightly different, so the method is slightly different, but I'm sure the person at the other end who's collecting the money is the same guy. It just has a better way of approach of running that. So again, the fraud has become global. And again, if you look at Africa, we've now also advanced. We have the same products that you have as far as the internet is concerned. So we're all getting hit by the same types of frauds, right? So if you talk about telecom fraud, there's a lot of subscription fraud that we're getting. You would be getting the same thing. I mean, the only difference is in what kind of products we use.
And it seems like with every advancement, there comes the other side of it, like mobile money. Mobile money's a incredible thing there in Africa, especially. But obviously that comes with some risks.
So yeah, so if you get things like mobile money, yes, of course they come with their own risks as well. And the more we advance, the more we put a lot of products onto the internet, the more vulnerable obviously we become, because we need to do more protection to protect ourselves from, from hacking, from phishing spells, because again, we're also introducing new products to customers, and our customers need to be wary, because now, there's a lot of frauds where people manipulate you. They might send you, I don't know, a virus on the phone as a message. They might send you an email where they're trying to get you to join something or do something that will enable them to then manipulate you to get money off you. So it's really all different. It's quite widespread. Even simple things like USSD, you'd think, okay, in a USSD code, there can't be any fraud, right? But you might use a USSD to access your bank or anything else, and somebody might use that information to manipulate you to give them your PIN. So it is, and I think that is really what has happened right now. The fraud is global, whereas before it was very specific. It was very specific to specific countries. You couldn't. I actually live in the UK permanently, but in the UK, the kind of fraud you would get there, you wouldn't get that same fraud in the US.
Right.
We had different types of products. Yeah. So, but now everything has become, we're all watching the same Netflix and using the same Spotify. So
very valid
for the fraudsters, for the fraudsters, it's an advantage in a sense that one approach I can use in the US, I can use that in Nigeria, I can use that in the UK, I can use it in Australia.
Yeah. That's a good point. Even though it's made it a little easier for the fraudsters, it maybe has helped with the compatibility of technology across the globe as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nixon, one thing that I've found in doing this little series of videos, and I wholeheartedly agree, Africa continues to come up as the area of the world that is always at the forefront of technology when it comes to combating fraud. Why do you think this is?
I think one of the things that has made that is the fact that we are in a more fragile environment, right?
Okay.
Where our environment is much more fragile, and also we've tended to leap forward in technology.
No.
Yeah. So we didn't have really proper fixed lines. We moved literally from not having proper fixed lines to direct to mobile. And a lot of technology comes really, really quickly. I think the adoption in the West is a little bit slower. People are more conservative, so the technology is a little bit slower. We've tried to use this as an advantage to help our communities develop. So by providing the technology, it makes you develop quicker. And I think that is where we differ, right? So if I look at, for example, in the UK, right, and the US might be the same thing, right? We have touch and pay, so you can literally pay from your phone, right?
Right.
But the adoption of it is not with everyone. Yeah, there's a whole lot of people who don't use it, right? Who still prefer to go to their bank, take money out, and pay with cash, right?
That's very true. It's very true.
Whereas when you look at Africa, we've adopted, mobile money and all these kind of things very, very quickly. Now, the other advantage we might have that is also influencing that is our age groups. Our populations are very young.
Okay.
So if you look at some of the countries, I don't exactly know the demographics of Nigeria because I'm also a guest here. But if I look at Uganda, where I come from, in East Africa, Uganda's population, 50% of the population is, I think, under 15 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So we are very, very young people. I don't know if my stats are right. So please correct me. Anyone who
Hey,
watches the video.
Don't worry. I'm sure somebody will leave a comment to correct both of us. But I love that because I remember what was it, 3+ years ago when it was the RAG Johannesburg conference that was at MTN in South Africa. And I remember going to buy a coffee. And at the time, I didn't have a debit or credit card that was the touch or whatever, the tap to pay. And so I go to buy a coffee and the nice lady's like, you just tap it. It's like I was telling her, it's like, but my card doesn't tap. I don't know. And it's kind of one of those, like, here we are in the US, we're behind. And I mean, we still write checks.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember in the UK the last time I used my card. So I don't actually take my wallet out.
Right.
So in my phone opens my card and I use my phone. My phone has all the cards in it. So, and in fact, recently I bought an Apple Watch. So now I don't need my phone anymore. I can leave my phone away. My watch can do all that. I can tap with just my watch. Yeah. So, and with COVID, a lot of the restrictions have been changed. So you can actually purchase far higher with your tap. So, you don't need your wallet. You don't need your wallet at all.
That's unbelievable. And I also looked at it as, as I came into telecoms and learned about just different networks in Africa. And it was always amazing to me how well the connectivity was, or is, I should say, in rural African areas versus, I don't know how much you traveled around Texas when you were here, but there's places in Texas you still have zero connectivity. So we have a lot to learn.
I remember sometime when I was in Texas, I drove to Paris, Texas.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've been to Paris. Yeah.
I have, oddly enough, and if my mom ever watches this, my mom is from Paris, Texas.
Wow. But when we were in Texas, I made it an aim for the family. I said, then we have to 100% go to Paris, Texas, and see the Eiffel Tower that is there. So we had a sort of a family trip out to Paris, and we did see the Eiffel Tower, which is actually quite small. But again, on the way,
but it does have a cowboy hat on it.
It does. On the way, there was areas where we drove through, which were very rural, and there was no signal. Yeah, which was quite surprising that there was actually no signal there. But in Africa, the operators have tried very hard to comply to the regulation, to try to ensure that they have coverage everywhere. Because again, I mean, it's a two-pronged sword, right? If you want to make money as a company, then you need to make sure that people have connectivity to get on your sites and give you money. Even though the government is trying to ensure that people have connectivity, but it's also a plus for you as an organization to make sure that your connectivity is everywhere, so that you can get people online for you to make revenues. Which is also part of our job, revenue assurance or business assurance is ensure the company is making money. Exactly. Of course, there is the issue of obviously underutilized sites, and that you also need to face and make sure that you can optimize it and reduce it as much as you can.
It's well put. Last thing I have for you, Nixon, before we get to some fun questions. Another thing we like to talk about is collaboration, and there's good collaboration, obviously, with groups like the Risk and Assurance Group, I3 Forum, GSMA, so on and so forth. But as far as in the efforts to combat and fight fraud, do you see good collaboration, telco to telco or country to country?
We've tried very hard, and we're still pushing. We do it here locally with all the other operators as well. We try to ensure we share information. If we see something new, we try to share that. There's a GSMA. In fact, there's even an African forum that we join, and we give input. They give inputs to us, and I think that's also been very successful. It is always trying to keep the energy up. I think that is the main issue. How do you keep the energy up?
Oh yeah.
Because obviously people go to this. You go to the same event or same meeting, and there's a lot of similarities in the things that get presented. And unfortunate for fraud is that the fraudsters never give up because they're always trying to make their money. And I think it's us who give up. Yeah, you protect something, you might not keep checking that protection is still there, and then it happens again. And we get a lot of those repetitive reports.
Right.
But I think we're improving. I personally think that if we took a time machine and went back 10 years, I think fraud was much more rife than it is now. And I think it's transforming into something different.
Right.
Yeah.
No, well said. Okay, Nixon. This is the part that's hopefully will be fun for you. I think you'll agree that,
okay,
like you said, as you go to conferences and meetings and you see similar people from time to time, and you talk to them 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, but you never really truly get to really know who that person is. So fortunately, our friends over at the Late Show with Stephen Colbert came up with a questionnaire that by the end of it, we'll know who Nixon Wampamba is. Now, the great data scientists in the 1Route labs have twisted it a little bit, but we have 15 questions for you, and by the end, our audience will know Nixon. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Nixon. What is the best sandwich?
Wow, this is not gonna be good for the Americans, but for me, the best one is chicken sweet corn.
There you go.
So it's chicken with sweet corn.
Okay.
Sandwich.
Sweet corn.
Yeah, sweet corn.
I'd go with it. Do you toast the bread or just leave it plain?
Toasted. I toast it.
There you go. I like it.
But I have another one.
Okay.
I have a cheese and onion as well. Cheese and onion is also very good.
Okay. Why not? What is one item that you own that you should really throw out?
Old shirts. Old t-shirts, sorry. Old t-shirts.
Old t-shirts.
Yeah, I tend to buy t-shirts all the time. It's crazy. It's a bad behavior.
All right, Nixon. What is the scariest animal?
Spider.
That they're easy for me to step on. That's about as close as I get.
Yeah, but if you wake up and you have a tarantula on your pillow, you won't step on
it. No, Nixon. No, you took it too far. Do you prefer apples or oranges?
Apples.
Apples. Absolutely. That is the correct answer. And you know why? You can put peanut butter on an apple.
I have never tried, but now I'm gonna try that.
Nixon, that's your homework now. You gotta give it a try. You'll see. It's good stuff.
I'll try that.
Don't put peanut butter on an orange. That's a bad combo.
Okay.
Have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
Yes, I have.
Did you get it? And who was it?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Well, maybe we should.
Idris Alba. I'm not sending any Christmas cards. He's not gonna be the next James Bond. He's being cancelled.
Idris, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but come on, man. Nixon needs an autograph. Hook him up. Whoever's watching this, whoever knows, let's get Nixon fixed up. Okay. What is your favorite action movie? It's obviously not going to be an Idris Elba movie now.
Predator.
Ooh, Predator. That's a good one. What is your favorite smell?
Wow. Lavender.
Ah, very calming. Now, on the flip side, what is your least favorite smell?
Can I be rude?
Absolutely, you can be rude. This is our show. We can do whatever we want.
I don't know if it's a smell, but any kind of farts.
Yeah.
Actually, let me be clear. Onions, right? Onion smell that has sort of decayed. You know when the onion decays, not the fresh one, but when it decays slightly. You know, you put it in a bag and you open it after 2 hours. That smell.
I've smelled some of that come from other people as well.
Yes.
What was the first cell phone that you ever owned?
Can't remember the model, but it was a Nokia.
Nokia.
Yeah, Orange set up. Orange opened up a service in the UK, and their very first sort of Orange branded Nokias. I think that was my very first cell phone.
Yeah. There you go. Do you prefer flat or sparkling water?
Flat.
100%. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Awesome.
Decaf.
Decaf. Oh, okay. Do you add anything? Do you creamer, sugar?
Yeah, with milk, no sugar.
Okay, there you go.
So that answer would vary depending on what time you'd ask me that question. So if you'd ask me that
it's a valid
20
point.
years ago, it will be with sugar and it won't be a decaf. But now it's a decaf.
Yeah, these days I have to have just caffeine no matter what. So my kids keep me up way too much. What is the most used? Okay. What is the most used app on your phone?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. You communicate. You use your phone to communicate. It's a novel concept. Okay, Nixon. You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What would that one song be?
Space Cowboy by Jamiroquai.
Oh, there you go. I like it.
Yeah.
What number am I thinking of?
5.
Oh, no. But I have to give you credit. So I've kept the same number in my head. You were the first one to say something other than 3 or 7. So kudos on that.
Okay.
I think by the end of this thing, I'll actually have to probably divulge what number I was thinking of the whole time. Finally, Nixon, describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
Awesome. Passionate. Happy. Mountainous.
Ooh.
And sunset.
That was very poetic, Nixon. I love it. Nixon, you are now a known man, and all that's left to do is roll out the red carpet for you, my friend. Look into the camera and tell us what is on the horizon for you.
I always think people always talk about change, but I always frame it as survival. We all need to survive, and you need change to survive. So what is on the horizon for me? Survival.
That is well put. Well put. I appreciate it. And to our audience, make sure to do the whole subscribe, like, share, all that stuff to keep up to date with everything. And once again, Nixon, thank you for the work that you do, the work that you continue to do, and the impact that you have on our industry. We greatly appreciate you and your time today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have been here.
Till the next go round. Cheers.